Some pretty good numbers there. Yeah. I mean, what do you think? Do you reckon United are better with Mason?
Yeah, I like Mason Mount. The thing is, he's had a lot of injuries. That's what's probably killed Mason Mount at Man United. But he's got a manager there, Ruben Amorim, that trust him. I think Mason Mount, the way they play, he wants to play in the number 10 positions, but he's got Mbeumo and Cunha. But Cunha can play through the middle. I think Man United are a better team when Mason Mount's in the team. He just needs a run of games. I think he's an outstanding young talent. Someone beside me will know him better than what I know him. But when I've seen him and the impact he has on Man United when he comes off the bench or even starts, yeah, he should definitely be a starter for me.
Absolutely. Well, Jody, you know from your time working with him, of course. Tell us about him and tell us about how do you get the best out of Mason?
I think he's a manager's dream as far as he comes in every day, enthusiastic, technically gifted, takes on board information amazingly well, distributes that information throughout the team as well. So not only can he take it on board, but he then helps the rest of the team. But a fit Mason Mount is a top player, and I'm just pleased that he's getting a run of games at the moment because what he's had to deal with from an injury perspective, he was one of the ones that even when he was a young kid coming through it in the academy, he was never injured, always fit, always available to train, never tried to sort of like protect himself. And then he's just one of these players that has hit a stage in his career where he's had a bad run of luck for 2.5 years or so, but now that he's fit and he's not getting these little niggly injuries, because that was the problem, he was getting fit and then he'd come back and then he'd break down with something else. But a fit Mason Mount is an asset to any football club in the Premier League, an asset for sure, but like not just a great player on the pitch, but great to have around the squad as well.
I like to say a great asset to any Premier League team. What about to England?
Well, listen, I think it's too early to be talking like that, and I think Mace played it down when he was asked a question the other week, and rightly so. He just said he wants to focus on trying to play for Man United. But like I said, Mason's that good that if he's fit and he's playing week in, week out, and he's producing like he's capable of producing, then who knows what can happen. And the England manager has relied on Mason Mount before winning Champions Leagues when he was he got Chelsea Player of the Year the year they won the Champions League with Thomas Tuchel, playing in a similar fashion. But listen, it's a bit early to talk like that because I think, and Mace rightly said, just wants to focus on his fitness at the moment, and as long as that continues, then he's got a chance of doing anything. Yeah,
it's funny that you say, straight away you were saying, he's a manager's dream, he takes on board information. Thomas Tuchel loved him at Chelsea, I think that's fair to say, he definitely has him. A lot of Man United fans that I speak to, Clinton, they seem to think that, Amorim actually, that's who he wants up top. I know obviously they've got Šeško, but when they look at that lineup, the person that Amorim wants in there is Mason Mount. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think Mount and Mbeumo and Cunha, that could be a good front three. Listen, the jury's still out on Šeško. You can't judge him straight away. He's just come to the Premier League. He's not started a lot of games. He's now got an injury, but they paid a lot of money for him. So, Ruben Amorim, when you pay a lot of money for a centre-forward like that, you're going to have to give him time. But you have to find a way to get Mason Mount into that team. Mason Mount is a better player starting than just coming off the bench and making an impact. He don't want that tag. He didn't go to Man United to get that tag. I think he's an outstanding player. Jody's right. There's a lot of players at the moment that are probably ahead of Mason Mount in that England squad. But if he can get back to the levels he can, he's got a great chance. But that's consistently playing week in, week out at Man United. But I do think he can make one of those number 10 his own and push Cunha further up for sure.
Yeah. It's interesting talking about Man United and attacking midfielders, and weirdly we're not talking about Bruno Fernandes. Obviously he's come into that deeper role this season, but Bruno's got the most assists and most chances created in the Premier League still. I mean, do you think, listening to that, are they right to play him deeper? Because a lot of fans are a bit still on the fence on it.
Listen, I think when you're a player of that quality, I think however the team plays, that you can get regularly on the ball, whatever position it is, when you're that good, I think. And obviously dropping deeper is where Amorim's playing him. Do I think it's his best position? No, but when you're that good, I think he can play anywhere. And you're always going to get those sort of numbers when you're Bruno.
This was goal of the season, wasn't it?
I mean, it was an awful goal, wasn't it? I mean, but again, that's one of the things that I like about Bruno as well. We're talking about a technically gifted player here, but he never shirks working hard, puts his foot in, even though that's not his best quality, but he's always finding passes, always looking forward. And yeah, if you do look at the other side of the data and the stats, you'll go, gives the ball away a lot because he tries for those passes a lot. He's always going to get a lot more than maybe people that try and protect the ball. But when you're a Bruno Fernandes, I mean, he's a fabulous player and been one of the best number 10s in the world since he's arrived at Man United, I think.
Yeah. Clinton, what about yourself on playing Bruno a little bit deeper? Do you think he...
No, his best position is a 10. I agree.
Yeah.
He has to suit that because they've got no other midfielder that can play his role from the deeper position.
Kobbie Mainoo, no?
Yeah, he can. Yeah, obviously Kobbie Mainoo, but I think Kobbie Mainoo could play beside Bruno Fernandes. For the life of me, I know that's a different story. How Kobbie Mainoo don't get in that Man United team, I can't believe it. A homegrown talent who's itching to play at the moment. But Bruno's an outstanding player. A lot of people criticise Bruno because he throws his arms out in the air, but that's just how he is. He expects better from himself and his teammates. I think he's outstanding. He's a top player.
Yeah, absolutely. And on Amarim's side, you know, a lot has been made on how much he's maybe tinkering with that back line. It's those late substitutions that he's making that maybe are pushing the team.
That kills me, Roman. Jody can answer that as a coach.
I don't get it.
I don't get it.
No, I don't get it.
Why would you do that?
I said it.
The late substitutions.
I said this about a year ago. I really don't see it when he keeps making these changes, like defender for defender, and
when you're winning as well. It's from winning positions. That's what when I don't quite understand it. Well, even losing positions, you're like, surely you want to.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I've questioned it myself. I'm trying to get why he's doing it, trying to put myself in his shoes. But yeah, I'm still baffled by it to this day. And I mean, he sticks to his guns, doesn't he? And one of his guns is changing a defender for a defender at some point in the game.
Yeah. Do you think that's why we're not really seeing that consistency from Man United yet?
I'm not sure. I think, in fairness to Ruben Amorim, I think the players have not been good enough for him. But at the same time, sometimes I do say that he maybe doesn't give the players big enough opportunity to produce as well when you're continuously changing players and you only want to stick to playing this rigid... It's not a rigid system, it's 3-2, but... You know, when other teams just know that's how you're going to play, know that that's how you're setting up, and then they don't really have to adjust during the game because, again, he makes loads of changes but just doesn't change anything.
Yeah. Very quickly, Clinton, how much of a miss is Brian Mbeumo going to be when he heads off?
Massively so. He's been outstanding since they signed him. We knew what he was going to do. The goals he scored at Brentford, and we knew he'd do that at Man United. They will miss him. Top player. And Ahmad as well. Both of those players have been really good for Man United so far.
I was going to say we're not going to get into the financial nuts and bolts, but apparently you've been at the stock exchange today, so maybe we could just leaf through the spreadsheets with you. You could give us some insights.
Yeah, you can do.
You flip a few quid today?
Yeah, quite a few, yeah.
Good.
Not millions.
Oh, good man. Omar Barada, who Rob was referencing there, who's the CEO, says that Manchester United have made strong progress in their transformation of the club. Does that extend to on the pitch?
Yeah, I would say so. They're higher up in the league than what they were last season. I still think there's still that inconsistency about them. You know, I watched them in the second half against Wolves. Even though Wolves are not very good, they play some good football. They've got some good players. I thought they bought well up front. Mason Mount's coming back. I thought Mason Mount looked back to when he was at the best when he was at Chelsea. Yeah, just got to get that consistency. And then it comes and bites them, the Everton game and the West Ham game, you know. But, yeah, I think they're getting there slowly. Slowly. They've got to learn how to walk again before they...
Well, that was going to be my point about the results. And they've only lost one of the last 9 games, which was Everton, and it was poor because they were playing against 10 men. But I think we're accepting that they're not a title challenger, so there are going to be those little hiccups whilst they learn to walk again.
Yeah, 100%. And they've got to get used to the way they play, and they should be getting used to that now. You know, the way Amorim plays. He's played it since the day he walked in there, so that's a lot of training sessions and a lot of games. Yeah, if they can get in the top 4, they've pulled up trees. And what a job that is for a Man United manager. To come in and you've just got to get in the top 4. Not like win the league, just get in the top 4.
We talked there, or there was a bit of reference from Rob about everything that's going on behind the scenes. There's been big cost cutting. But again, when you funnel it down to what's happening on the pitch, as you said, recruitment has been a big improvement in that the signings they've made have been good. but they've also managed to get rid, some of only on loan, but get rid of the players that the manager clearly doesn't want.
Yeah, and I think that's been the big thing with Man United over the last how many years. Their recruitment's been shocking. I don't want to go back to Anthony, but I will.
Poor old Anthony.
I mean, £80 million. Do you know what I mean? It's just wrong. It was just wrong. They bought, and I always go back to him because it was £80 million and he didn't produce anything. So that was a hard one. I think they've done well this season. They bought well. They've got to keep certain players fit. I think Fernandes is a footballer. He's a good footballer. Mason Mount, good footballer. And then they got good players up front in Mbeumo and Cunha. You get them four going, they will cause, manic for a lot of teams, a lot of panic. So for me, keep it tight at the back, and they'll be all right.
This is one of the great goals, by the way, isn't it? Great, as in terrible.
Yeah, just terrible. That is it. But it's just that's what they've got to do. I don't think they've had a lot of luck, Man United, over the last few years. I think they get punished every time they get punished. See, that was a good goal. A real good football goal, and they've got good. As I say, there's a difference between players and footballers, and they've got some good footballers at the club now. And I think, look at that. I mean, Mason Mount, when he was at Chelsea, I was a massive fan of his. Disappointed when he left, but he's just finding himself again. And as I say, I like this lad. He gets a lot of stick off people, but yeah, he's a player. Always turns up, never injured. Even when they're 10 games without a win, Fernandes plays.
Just on Mason Mount, you said you're a big fan of his when he was at Chelsea. So too was Thomas Tuchel. Is there a place on the plane for him?
If he played like he did against Wolves, if he played like that to the end of the season, he's got every chance. And I know he hasn't played for England, but he's played under Thomas Tuchel, and Thomas Tuchel will know what he does. So it's not like he's got to come and he's got to play in loads of more friendlies. He's worked with him. He knows what he's like. He knows the player he is. But he's got to play like that every week, not just against Wolves. Do you know what I mean? I'd expect to play like that against Wolves at the moment.
Still now?
I expect to at the moment.